little fucked up, but will you take care of me forever and ever?
I mean, he feels, disappointed that he lost. But as I said to him, he should be very proud.
Pissed him off. Then he broke my brother's jaw. Fuck. His jaw, huh? Yeah, he exposed his jaw.
Yeah.
You don't care though. Jake's having a fucking.
So you don't know, but I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised.
Right. Were you?
Jake Paul quits boxing after brutal loss to Anthony Joshua. From a hospital bed, Jake Paul is already talking retirement. The pain, the broken jaw, and the embarrassment clearly hit harder than expected. This defeat was too real to process. Anthony Joshua didn't just hand him a loss. He pushed Jake to the point where quitting boxing feels like the only option.
I was broken, by the way, so yeah. Let's go! It's definitely broke. But man, that was good. Nice little ass whooping from one of the best to ever do it. So
Nikisa Bidarian tries to frame it as a simple break, but everyone knows this is more than recovery. After the damage Anthony Joshua inflicted, retirement talk didn't come out of nowhere. Calling it rest is just a safer headline. The reality is age pushed Jake Paul to a place where continuing in boxing suddenly looks impossible.
He took a break. He let his body recuperate, right?
Nikisa Bidarian tries to spin this as showing heart, but let's be real, surviving Aj was never about skill. Twitter hype can't fix a shattered jaw or a ruined reputation. This so-called respect is just a consolation prize after being exposed. Anthony Joshua left no room for excuses, only embarrassment.
The fact that Jake is safe, and more so that he showed his heart. I don't know if you guys were looking on Twitter, but until about 20 minutes ago, the #1 trending thing on Twitter wasn't Jake Paul getting knocked out, wasn't Jake Paul, wasn't Anthony Joshua. It literally was the phrase, respect for Jake.
Jake Paul can't hide at tears, and defeat replace all the bravado. This isn't acting, it's the reality of getting outclassed by a true champion. Retirement isn't just a choice here, it's the only way to save face. Aj didn't just win a fight, he ended Jake's illusion of being a real boxer.
But I'm scared.
Eddie Hearn frames it politely, but the truth is clear. If Jake walks away now, it's Aj who defined the ending. Any future return would be more about cash than legacy. The fight exposed the limits of Jake Paul, a moment of brutal reality where hype couldn't save him.
For British fight fans, because we've got a chance to make the biggest fight in boxing, but if that is the last we see of him, he's had a great career. I doubt it, but it's always best to come into retirement to make sure someone pays you to come out of retirement. But if that's his lot, much respect to him and wish him all the best.
Anthony Joshua acknowledges the effort, but let's be honest, this spirit came after a complete dismantling. Jake Paul stepping into the ring with a real heavyweight showed guts, but it also highlighted his limits. Even getting up repeatedly can't erase the fact that retirement is looming. Aj didn't just win, he forced Jake to confront that boxing might be permanently out of reach.
Knocked him out at the start, but as we saw tonight, Jake has spirit. He has some heart. He tried his best, and I take my hat off to him because, number one, a lot of fighters haven't got in the ring with me, and Jake did. And secondly, even when he got knocked down, he kept...
Spencer Oliver praises Jake's showmanship, but even he can't ignore the obvious. Retirement is coming. Talent and charisma only go so far when reality hits. Aj exposed the ceiling for Jake Paul, and while fans will miss the drama, the harsh truth is that stepping away now might be the only way he can preserve any shred of dignity in boxing.
It's not just that he's a big personality and he sells fights so well and he's a big character, and the press conferences, the build-up to fights, and what he delivers in the ring. The guy is a serious talent, and he'll be missed when he's retired. That is...
Carl Froch doesn't hold back, and neither does reality. Watching Jake Paul in the ring was painful. He had no answers, just absorbing blow after blow with his guard up and desperation written all over his face. There was no strategy to recover, only attempts to survive. The fight wasn't just messy, it was a public exposure of his limits. For a man who built his brand on confidence and theatrics, this moment underlined the harsh truth: retirement isn't speculation, it's inevitable. Aj didn't just win rounds, he forced Jake to confront that stepping away is the only way to preserve what little dignity he has left.
Should have either grabbed on, took a knee, or at least threw a bit more back. He was sitting back with his guard up, taking punches. It looked messy, it looked like he was under attack, and he was hurt the round before, so...
Donnie Nelson is blunt. Jake Paul's days in the ring are over. He frames it like history repeating itself, a fighter talking big, only to be forced into retirement after failing to match the hype. There's no sugarcoating it. This isn't a pause, this is the end of the line. Aj dismantled him, exposed his weaknesses, and the public spectacle made the decision inevitable. Nelson's assessment confirms that anyone expecting a comeback is fooling themselves. Jake's theatrics can't rewrite reality. Stepping away now is the only move left if he wants to escape further humiliation.
He's retired, he's not going to do it again. We've seen it before, and I'm quite sure the Commonwealth's going to be the boy that cried wolf. I think in reality, you know...
Ariel Helwani captures the fear in every moment Jake Paul faced Anthony Joshua. Each punch wasn't just a hit, it was a reminder of the mismatch, a dangerous mix of size, reach, and skill that Jake simply couldn't handle. The crowd winced, the commentators winced, and Jake himself had no choice but to survive. This fight highlighted not only his physical vulnerability but also the inevitability of retirement. When facing someone of Aj's caliber, every misstep is magnified. For Jake Paul, the lesson was brutal and public. Stepping away from boxing is not optional, it's the only way to preserve what little credibility remains.
I'm a little fucked up, but will you take care of me forever and ever?
David Haye breaks down the fight with insight, but the takeaway is clear: Jake Paul's plan was fragile from the start. Lateral movement and hope weren't enough against a seasoned champion like AJ. Taking massive shots, ending with a broken jaw, and ultimately spitting blood tells the story better than any highlight reel. For a fighter who built himself on bravado, the reality of physical punishment forces the inevitable conclusion: retirement is looming. Credit where due, Jake showed heart, but heart alone cannot rewrite outcomes. Aj's dominance exposed the ceiling for Jake, proving that stepping away is now the only safe and sane decision.
A knockout, everyone was expecting it. It's very difficult to pin someone down when they're not trying to engage. Jake's game plan was a good one, was to use lateral movement and the hope to land a big overhand right at some stage to catch AJ off guard. Didn't quite work out, but you got to give Jake credit. Took some big shots there. I think he's got a broken jaw or something, spitting blood at the end of the fight. No, anything's possible. He gave it a go. He dared to be great. Didn't work out for him, understandably. That's why he was such a massive underdog.
Eddie Hearn gives a measured take, but the story here is layered. Jake Paul entered the ring with confidence, but the reality of facing a seasoned heavyweight like Anthony Joshua quickly dismantled the narrative. Yes, Jake showed movement and tried to make Aj work, and yes, Aj was a bit rusty, but the truth is clear: Joshua dictated the pace once he settled in. Jake's toughness is unquestionable, he lasted longer than many expected, yet the scoreboard doesn't lie. This fight exposed the limits of Jake's boxing career in the most public way possible. Hearn's praise for Aj's performance is also a subtle acknowledgement of how one-sided the skill gap was. Even with heart and movement, Jake was never in control. Retirement talk isn't just whispers now. After this showing, stepping away becomes inevitable. Aj didn't just win a fight, he ended a chapter in Jake Paul's boxing story.
To Jake, you know, he was a tough guy in there. Obviously, he moved a lot and made it difficult for AJ. And AJ's been out of the ring for a while, he's a bit rusty. It took him time to just get hold of him, but I was impressed with Jake. And listen,
Saddle Riley frames this as more than just a victory, it was a global showcase. Anthony Joshua may be a household name, but fighting Jake Paul brought him in front of an audience that rarely watches traditional boxing. It was a crossover moment, a collision of mainstream hype and elite skill. For Jake, the exposure was just as brutal. The millions watching didn't just see a YouTube star, they saw someone overwhelmed by elite talent. Riley's point underscores the dual narrative: Aj gains reach, Jake's retirement conversation gains urgency. Every jab and combination from Joshua broadcasted Jake's limits, making it clear this chapter of his boxing career is nearing its end. In trying to compete on this stage, Jake Paul's true ceiling was exposed, one that even his bravado and previous hype couldn't overcome.
AJ's win today was the exposure to more people. Even though he's mad famous, as we know, like, there's a community he hasn't touched. And I think he touched that community today.
Joseph Parker highlights the methodical nature of Anthony Joshua's approach. He didn't just overwhelm Jake Paul, he studied, adapted, and executed. Chasing Jake across the ring, breaking him down round by round, and unleashing powerful, precise punches left no room for Jake to recover mentally or physically. Parker's breakdown exposes the core reason retirement is now the only realistic option for Jake's skill, experience, and physicality were all on Aj's side. Despite Jake's toughness, every shot he took was a reminder of the gap between hype and reality. Fans may debate heart and courage, but the methodical dismantling left a mark that goes beyond bruises. Joshua's strategy wasn't flashy, it was clinical, exposing limits and ensuring Jake Paul walks away knowing he can't compete at this level.
Joshua did what he had to do. It took him a while to get him. He had to break him down and chase him down and unleash his powerful shots.
Logan Paul admires the courage Jake showed, but admiration doesn't hide the underlying reality. Lasting through a broken jaw and an ankle injury may seem heroic, yet it's also a stark testament to how brutal the fight was. Most people wouldn't dare enter a ring with a champion like AJ, but bravery alone can't change outcomes. Logan's praise recognizes toughness, yet the context is brutal. Jake Paul was repeatedly exposed, overpowered, and ultimately forced to confront his limitations. Surviving doesn't equal winning, and this is why the conversation about retirement is unavoidable. Aj didn't just test Jake's resolve, he revealed the ceiling of his career. Logan's commentary captures the paradox, awe at persistence, but clear evidence that stepping away is now inevitable. For fans and analysts alike, the fight was a lesson. Courage is commendable, but skill defines legacy.
In my opinion, he won 4 of them. People will argue that he at least won 3. No one expected him to last that long. Rolled his ankle, broke his jaw, still fucking fighting, man. Like, that's toughness. You know, most people just wouldn't have the balls ever to step in a boxing ring in their life. He stepped in a boxing ring with one of the baddest men on the planet. Who's 40 pounds heavier than him and 6 inches taller.
The brutal defeat to Anthony Joshua has officially rewritten Jake Paul's boxing story. From broken jaws to a retirement announcement straight from the hospital, the fight exposed the limits of hype versus reality. Analysts, promoters, and even family members have all weighed in. There's no sugarcoating what happened. Jake's courage and persistence are undeniable, but stepping into the ring with a world-class heavyweight revealed that heart alone can't bridge the gap between a social media star and a professional boxer. Fans witnessed every punch, every stagger, every attempt to survive, and the conversation has now shifted from, can he fight, to should he continue? Anthony Joshua not only dominated physically, but also controlled the narrative, leaving Jake with no room to escape the truth. If you want to see the full breakdown of this fight, the expert reactions, and what this loss means for Jake Paul's career, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Don't miss our next video where we analyze the post-fight fallout and predict what's next for both fighters.